I suppose at a frivolous level, if I may be allowed to do so, I should be reversing the question. Do journalists always get it right?
No, we never do. We never do.
Yeah, so I think it's just a question of what the president said. We just have to be honest in that sometimes we'll get it wrong, sometimes we'll get it right. Which countries, I wouldn't say, but I think the question you asked for me, as someone who works in a development institution, in many ways begs another question. What is development all about? By definition, our job is to work in places which are imperfect, where we are required as a partner to attempt to improve the conditions of citizenry in many different dimensions, including that of voice. So we don't look for perfect situations and just criticize. We look for places that need our partnership, attempt to have sensible dialogues with them, and establish relationships which allow us to work with them to change the circumstances that prevail to better ones.
But also I should hasten to say, you know, it's easy to say now that, you know, with revolutions, everyone was wrong and all that, that's fine. But, you know, there are a lot of also good things that took place and happened in Tunisia. And the previous regimes did a good job when it came to education. They did a bad job in facilitating the creation of jobs. They did a good job in housing ownership, facilitating the emergence of the middle class and improving access to finance. There are a lot of good things that took place. They did a good job in developing infrastructure. I'm amazed at the quality of infrastructure. So not all is bad, but perhaps the revolution itself is a good thing. It has highlighted something else, which is voice and accountability, the justice element of what development is about. So it's not all bad, you know, there's some good things.
But thank you for acknowledging the fact that, you know, we did come out right away and acknowledge. In fact, the president was indeed very forthright. He immediately wrote an op-ed which ran in dozens of papers across the world. And the title he gave to that op-ed was, you know, Getting It Right in North Africa. He acknowledged, and I think the imagery he used was a latent volcano that suddenly erupted. We saw the figures. Growth was good, but beyond the surface there was a layer. There was some simmering, and I think we've done well. The president has, I think, just was it last week or week before, he made a trip to the interior of Tunisia to actually meet with some of the people that were actually were affected, have been affected by developments in Tunisia, parts of North Africa, people who were not carried along by growth. And I went with him, some of us went with him. He spent an entire day just talking to people, to hear from them about the issues that impact their lives and how things could be made better. So again, we're responsive, we're proactive, but the important thing is we want to make contributions in such a way that they can impact positively on people's lives at the end of the day.
When you want to add something else, but
okay.
Just one point, because I think your question is a very good one. And in a sense, it points to how we do surveys, how we dipstick, how we take the temperature of things, and how we measure results. For example, when you do a survey on the business climate, the tendency is you poll those who are already in business, rather than those who are not. So if you poll those who are in business and they're in business because of cronyism, which is what was going on, then you get the impression that things are going well. This is why when you for instance, you look at the African Competitiveness Report or the Doing Business Report rankings, Tunisia ranks high on the business side, but it's because we haven't polled those who are not in business, who are not being excluded. It then calls into a question that maybe what we should be doing is using a more counterfactual approach. In other words, those who are in business, those versus those who are not. So you have a counterfactual to have a better sense as to what's really going on. That's where I think your question is headed.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Vincenzo Canale of Africa News, .it and .s. Why people in Tunisia are leaving Tunisia, actually? That's the question.
Why are Tunisians leaving Tunisia?
Yeah.
The immigration, the wave of immigration.
Yeah. After the revolution, of course.
I'm going to ask Chief Economist to speak to that.
You know what? I think we should accept that any situation like that will create a natural J-curve effect, which is that while the revolution will produce positive results around voice and accountability going forward, they are not, a revolution situation will not create jobs today. So you still want to feed yourself, keep the lights on, and you go where you think you can get opportunity tomorrow. But I think it's only natural. I think the question is whether these people will return when the situation improves economically. But it's about jobs tomorrow and whether Tunisia can deliver those tomorrow. We can't do things quickly enough, frankly. That's what it's really good. It's a J-curve effect.
Let's take two more questions, and if there are two more, and then we'll bring this to a close. Okay, I think we'll make this the last question.
Je m'appelle Omar, je suis du Sénégal, la dernière assemblée générale, les assemblées annuelles de la Banque Adana ont été marquées par la récapitulation du capital, l'augmentation du capital. Bon, cette année à Lisbonne, on voudrait savoir quel est le fait majeur, le fait marquant des assemblées annuelles de Lisbonne. Sur quoi on peut vraiment s'attarder pour dire que Lisbonne a été un succès total? C'est la question que je vous pose.
Ça, c'est l'avant-dernier. Dakar, c'est il y a
Dakar, c'est 2 ans.
Oui.
Nous parlons d'Abidjan.
Abidjan.
Parce que je suis Dakar, excusez-moi.
This annual meeting comes after what for all of us was a landmark annual meeting, because the annual meeting in Ivory Coast last year was not just about the capital increase, but it was election of the president. It was enlargement of the board to make the board more representative of the shareholders. And so when you have an annual meetings like this coming after, some may say, so what can be key? But this annual meeting is very important for us. First, because of the depth of the dialogue among the governors themselves. We changed the format of the annual meetings significantly and provided more time for governors to discuss. So the dialogue this annual meeting was focused on issues of inclusiveness and how that would impact our work, how we will go forward from deep analysis